Hey golfers, Troy Klongerbo, Editor-in-Chief, US Golf TV, and today we hit some bombs with the Bombtech Grenade 2 driver. Now, we just got this in the mail a couple weeks ago. We were able to unwrap it this morning, take it out on the driving range here and hit some shots, and I actually compared it against the driver that I currently have in my bag. So I want to take this video, I want to kind of work through a couple of things. I'm going to first talk about the look, the first impressions, and some of the key design features when you're looking at the Grenade 2 driver. Then we're going to go into some testing. So I was able to test it out. I was able to hit some drives with mine, some drives with the Bombtech Grenade 2, and we're able to cross-reference and compare those numbers. And we actually I learned a ton about my own golf game. And I think you guys will be able to learn as well, taking a look at those numbers and seeing, kind of dissecting what you're looking for and how this club really performs. And then finally, I'm going to recap, just talking about the feel, the overall aesthetics, and how I felt this club performed versus how it's marketed and how the claims stack up to what it actually is able to perform with. So first impression when you open it is it looks very similar in shape, in stature, and general design to the original Grenade driver. Now, there's a couple of differences. They've changed the look of the bottom of the club. They've gone with more of a brushed steel kind of satin look on the bottom. Before, they had kind of a chrome glossy look. So I noticed that right away. That kind of jumped at me. I also noticed that they kept the core design with these dual aerodynamic cavities intact from the Grenade to the Grenade 2, which was interesting. I know they spent a lot of time and energy researching this, and it was a feature that they did not want to dismiss when going into the Grenade 2. When moving on into the look, it's got the same matte black cover, which reduces some of the glare and kind of gives it a sleek look. You see a lot of clubs are doing that nowadays. And in the shaft, they've got the branded bright green Grenade with the graphic look. It's all brushed green. Really branded, and even at the bottom there, you'll see they've got a little bomb on the bottom of the grip. It's just kind of an extra little added touch. But as far as aesthetics, it's a little bit pop. It's a little bit wow. And if you're a generalist, if you're maybe a Titleist guy or someone who likes more of the classic, these lime greens and these bright colors might be a little bit abrasive, but for a lot of people out there, it's fresh, it's unique, it's branded, it's cool, and honestly, I think it's just a sleek looking design, and it didn't really deter from anything that I was looking to do from a performance end. So I wanted to dive a little bit into the numbers and what I was able to learn. So I hit a bunch of shots to warm up, make sure that I was comparing apples against apples, so my club head speed didn't increase or decrease. I also wanted to make sure that I used 5 shots from each of my clubs that were fair representations, not missed hits, not user errors. There were plenty of user errors. And the first thing I can say is that the Grenade 2 driver actually comes with 10.5 degrees loft. My current driver in my bag comes with 9.5 degrees loft. So I know that's going to be a bit of a discrepancy when we look at some of these numbers, but it's important for you guys to know that. So let's dive right in here and take a look. Now, we've got a lot of data here. We've got carry, we've got total distance, we've got some of the club head speed, we've got some of the ball speeds, we've got smash factors laid out here. One of the key ones we looked at a lot today was the spin rate. And we also have maybe some more ancillary data on some of the apex, time in the air, club path, some of that stuff that's a little bit more not really what we're looking for when we're comparing golf clubs. But there's a couple of key numbers I just want to look at, and they're very basic numbers, but they tell you a lot when you're looking at a driver and you're comparing a driver and whether it's a good fit for your game. First, it's the carry distance. You want to look at the carry distance because it's obviously how far the ball's flying, but it's going to change. You can look at total distance, but your carry distance is going to truly tell you what the performance at impact did to the flight of the shot. So that's one to me that there's not a lot of variables. You can pretty much tell how far you're flying the ball is how far it's going to go. And then if it's running out longer, then obviously you've got more issues to look at with your launch angle and your spin and all that stuff. So I look at carry distance. We're also going to look at club head speed, because I think club head speed is going to be very indicative of the performance. Now, these clubs are all designed to be aerodynamic. They're designed to perform. They're designed to increase club head speed. You hear the claims, and we all know that club head speed, when used properly, leads to more distance. So we're going to look at the club head speed, and then I'm also going to take a look at the spin rates. And now the spin rate may not have everything to do with the driver itself. There are other factors I'm going to dive into and why I think the Grenade 2 compared differently to my driver, but we also look at the spin rate and just kind of see what we're working with and what we're dealing with. So when I compare the Grenade 2 against my driver, and we're looking at aggregate accumulative data of 5 golf shots, you'll notice that the distance, the average carry distance, actually came out to a little bit less than what I currently have in my bag. Now, I'm currently using a Titleist driver that's maybe a couple years old, and I actually flew that ball further than the Grenade 2. So first thing you're looking at is you're going, Troy, you're flying it further, it's carrying out further. Why would you ever switch? This data is telling me everything I need to know. You hit it 7 yards further, that's done and clear, right? I actually want to dive a little bit further in. Remember how I told you there's more that goes into the story of how this club actually works. I want to move over and talk about the spin rate for a second. Now, if you guys look at the spin rate with the Bombtech, you'll see in red here, we actually had about 600 more RPMs average with the Bombtech than we had in mind. Now, what that tells me is it doesn't really tell me anything about how the head was performing. That's a shaft thing. And when I got my driver, my Titleist driver a few years back, I got that shaft perfectly fit for my swing. So I knew that I was going to be getting spins right where you want them. With a driver, you're going to be looking anywhere from 2,400 to 3,000. You want it in the high 2,000s. And I get that with my driver consistently. And I noticed right away when swinging the Grenade 2 that the driver shaft was a little bit soft. Now, I ordered a stiff shaft. They sent a stiff shaft, and it's absolutely a stiff shaft. It's just not built to something that fits my swing. But when you look at 600 RPMs difference, and then you move back over into another metric that I talked about, which is club head speed, you'll notice in red that I actually swung the Grenade 2 3 miles per hour faster than I swung my driver. Now, a softer shaft is absolutely going to do that, but I know that the Bombtech and the guys over at the University of Vermont have put a lot of energy into the technology of the head to really optimize your ball speed and club head speed. And I think that they were able to do a great job, as I was clearly swinging the club 3 miles an hour faster. And so it's important to look at these numbers and understand them in whole. I'm swinging the club 3 miles an hour faster, but I'm losing 7 yards of distance. My argument to that was, let's put shaft versus shaft and compare apples versus apples to really understand what we're getting. Now, we don't have the time, the technology, the effort, all that kind of stuff to get 2 shafts of the exact same to be able to compare these. But for anybody looking at Bombtech and seeing the price point being lower than a lot of drivers you can get on the market and thinking, oh, it must be an inferior product, I want this data to point to the fact that it is not an inferior product. You can look at the data from a high level and say, oh, flew shorter, it's a worse driver, it's junk. But when you dive a little deeper and understand that the shaft wasn't a great fit, that I actually swung the club faster with the Grenade 2 than I swung it with my own, and that they actually compared very close, the Grenade 2 is a solid driver, and it can stack up with anything in the industry. Just make sure that you guys get it fit. So if you guys order it and it comes in as a regular and a stiff and it fits you and you notice that the numbers are right, you're going to see some great performance from this club. And if you don't, that's fine. There's plenty of guys out there that can help you guys with getting your shaft fit, with getting the driver fit so that it fits your golf swing. That way you know that you're truly comparing the driver for what it is, technology versus technology. So I want to talk a little bit about the feel, what I experienced hitting the Bombtech, and some of the things that maybe data doesn't pick up or that you guys can't pick up from the screen. I'll just kind of explain to it how I felt. The sound, the feel, the overall appeal of this club, it's great. It sounds great, it's decisive, it's a strong strike. When you hit it, I hit a few right on the center of the face, and it performed exactly how you want it to perform. Solid, it came out of a beautiful window when it launched. I could tell the ball was spinning, but like I said, that was because of the shaft, I believe, because when I hit that ball at impact, I could really feel that ball was compressing and that it was moving through impact fast. I noticed as well, it's got a little bit of a, when you're looking at the shape of the driver, you know, some drivers are going to have a bit of a taller crown. Others are going to be a little bit more maybe spread throughout the face. The Bombtech had a little bit of a taller face than I'm typically used to, but I really like it. Kind of went back to this custom pear-shaped design, which I know a lot of people like, and I think a lot of people really find appealing with the Grenade 2. So in all, I love the feel, I love the sound. The data may not have come out perfectly, but I think we've framed it in a way that helps you guys understand that we if we swap out shafts, we compare these things pound for pound, we're looking at this Grenade 2 competing against some of the top clubs in the industry. Now, you guys may have looked back at their website in April of 2017 and seen deals like buy a driver, get a 3-wood for free. You see these buy 3 wedges for $100. You can buy a brand new driver for $300. Like, how are they able to do this? Like, it doesn't make sense. But their business model, and if you guys head to bombtechgolf.com, you guys can learn a lot more about what they're really trying to do. And they're trying to go direct to the consumer. They're trying to cut out all the middlemen, and they're going to go direct to the consumer, which helps them drive their price down. So don't get caught up by that. Don't think that you're buying a gimmick. I know classic psychology is going to say cheaper price, cheaper product, but it's actually not a cheaper product. The Bombtech Grenade 2, I was able to hit some bombs. It feels great. It looks great. If I got this shaft swapped in, I'm pretty confident that it'd be stacked up against my driver, which I got custom fit for me and is one of the industry-leading drivers. So overall, the Bombtech Grenade 2, it's a great driver. If you guys are doing your research and looking for more data, I want you guys to understand that this thing is solid. There's a ton of more information that we can put in our blog. You guys click below. We'll also include it in the meta description. But I want to hear you guys' comments. Have you guys heard anything about the Bombtech 2 Grenade? Have you guys tested it yourself? Are there questions that you have? I'd love to jump in the comments and see if I can help answer some of those for you. Hopefully you guys were able to learn something. We've got a full-length blog that we've posted into the description, and we've posted it below in the comments. So feel free to take a look at that. Leave all your thoughts for us. Comment. We'd love to interact with you and see what you guys have learned or other questions you guys have about this club. Before you guys leave, I'm Troy Klongerbo again. You guys can find me on Twitter, and I want you guys to subscribe to our YouTube channel. So we're going to actually cover up the subscribe. There it is. Thank you. We're going to put the subscribe button right here so you guys can click on that, subscribe, stay in touch. We're constantly posting stuff on instruction, helping you guys improve, and helping us all just enjoy this game better, because that's all we want anyways. So have a great rest of your guys' day, and we will see you soon.